Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am your host, Josh Davis, also known as Crash, and I am joined by my good buddy, Doug, and we are here to talk about Week 15 in the NFL. Doug, we're almost we're in the home stretch now. We're coming to the end of the season, so a lot of exciting games and matchups to look forward to, a lot on the line. So before we do that, how are you doing on this Saturday afternoon, a couple weeks before Christmas?
Really good today. Really good.
Very good.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. It's a little
Awesome.
cold and wet outside, so I'm glad I'm inside and got the heater next to me. So if you're new to the channel, if you would give us a like and then hit the subscribe button after you've done those two things, if you would hit the alarm bell, notification bell, that will let you know when our newest podcast has gone live. If you're new to DFS Coach Talk in general, we would love to have you join us on X Talk, or you can send me an email, jpdavis1982@gmail.com. And we have memberships that start as low as $4.99 a week for our Discord. So we have a very family-friendly, very positive and encouraging community in our Discord, and we provide for all the major sports. Of course, NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA. Doug helps us with PGA, and then any other sports that we cover throughout the year, you'll get, lineups and stuff for that. So send me a DM on X for more information on that at DFS Coach Talk, or you can email me, jpdavis1982@gmail.com. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting with the first game Sunday, the 1 p.m. Eastern start time, Dallas Cowboys at the Carolina Panthers. Panthers are a 2.5-point favorite at home, minus 150 on the money line with an over-under of 43, 37% chance of rain, 46 degrees with the wind blowing to the northeast at 7 miles an hour. Then we have our first real weather game this weekend. It's going to be, we had the one on Thursday, but kind of the same kind of, weather. It's going to be a little bit cooler, though. Kansas City at Cleveland. Chiefs, excuse me, let me take a drink of water here. Chiefs are a 4-point favorite on the road, minus 225 on the money line with an over-under of 43, 86% chance of rain, 41 degrees with the wind blowing up to 30 miles an hour. So definitely some weather that's going to affect that game for sure. We have the Miami Dolphins in Houston. Houston is a 2.5-point favorite at home, minus 145 on the money line with an over-under of 46.5. They're indoors, so there's no weather concerns. The New York Jets are in Jacksonville taking on the Jaguars. The Jets are a 3.5-point favorite on the road, minus 170 on the money line with an over-under of 40.5, low over-under there. 72 degrees with the wind blowing to the east-northeast at 13 miles an hour. Pretty nice weather, as you might expect in Jacksonville. The Washington Commanders in New Orleans taking on the Saints. Looks like Jake Haener is going to get the start for the Saints. Derek Carr is doubtful, but he's out. Washington is a 7.5-point favorite on the road, minus 390 on the money line with a 43.5 over-under. Indoors, so there's no weather. We have the Baltimore Ravens in New York taking on the Giants. Ravens are a 16.5-point favorite on the road, minus 1520 on the money line with a 42.5 over-under. 37 degrees with the wind blowing to the east-northeast at 6 miles an hour. I do believe, Doug, that I saw that Tommy DeVito is going to start for the Giants. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll strongly lean towards him all week. So
yeah. But that 16.5, man, anytime I see a number like that, it scares me. So I might, if I was betting on a parlay or whatever, I might take the points with the Giants there at 16.5.
Just keep in mind, we had 2 games this past week that went over 16.5-point spread.
True. That's true. We have the Cincinnati Bengals in Tennessee taking on the Titans. The Bengals are a 5-point favorite on the road, minus 235 on the money line with the over-under 46.5. Just a 10% chance of rain, so a small chance there. 56 degrees with the wind blowing to the south at 13 miles an hour. Injury news here, Tony Pollard is listed as questionable, so we'll have to see if he's going to play or not. because that would definitely affect Tennessee quite a bit. So keep an eye on that. Move to the afternoon slate. The Patriots in Arizona taking on the Cardinals. Cardinals are a 6-point favorite at home, minus 260 on the money line. Over under a 46 indoors, so there's no weather. The Colts are taking on the Broncos in Denver. The Broncos are a 4-point favorite at home, minus 210 on the money line with the over under 44. 54 degrees with the wind blowing to the west at 17 miles an hour. The Bills in Detroit for what should be the game of the week. The Lions are a 2.5-point favorite at home, minus 145 on the money line. Highest over-under on the slate by far, 54.5. I kind of feel like after last week, Detroit was in a kind of a high-scoring game, and the Rams and the Bills were in a very high-scoring game. I think this game might go under. How do you feel about it?
I think both lines are going to be tired, defensive and offensive. So I think that leans towards the offense to have a little more on the O line. And with Detroit's injuries, I think it's going to be probably actually be a high scoring game. But keep in mind, those are two fairly good defensive teams.
They are. And that will go into later on. I'm going to talk about one of my Prizepicks plays with the Bills defense. So it's not the Bills defense itself, but just a play related to them. So we'll get into that later. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in Los Angeles taking on the Chargers. Chargers are a 3-point favorite at home, minus 150 on the money line. Once again, indoors, so there's no weather. 45.5 over under. Lad McConkey is listed as questionable, so we'll have to see if he's going to play or not, because that could drastically affect that game. Also at 425, we have the Steelers in Philly. This is probably the second best game of the week. The Eagles are a 5.5-point favorite at home, minus 255 on the money line. Over under 43, 41 degrees with the wind blowing to the east-northeast at 6 miles an hour. And then we move to Sunday Night Football. My Packers taking on the Seahawks. Packers are a 2.5-point favorite on the road, minus 140 on the money line with over under 46. As you might expect, there is a slight chance of rain in Seattle. 30% though, not too bad. 45 degrees, very slight wind at 3 miles an hour. Then we go to your team, the Vikings, taking on the Bears in a Monday night doubleheader. It's kind of random, but they have a Monday night double weekend. Vikings hosting the Bears. Vikings 7-point favorite at home, minus 315 on the money line with the over under 43.5. And we end the week with the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Las Vegas Raiders at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Falcons are a 4-point favorite on the road, minus 220 on the money line with an over under 44. And for the Raiders, Aiden O'Connell and Jacoby Myers are both listed as questionable, but the game's not till Monday, so we probably won't have the injury news till Sunday night at the earliest. All right, so let's go to our top plays of the week. I'm going to take another drink of water if you have anything you want to add before we do that.
No, just keep in mind I think the Packers in Seattle is huge when it comes to playoff implications, and we're looking at two teams that almost have to win now, because the Packers, their schedule is not that easy the rest of the way,
right?
And they need to start getting some W's. And Seattle, same thing.
Well, especially with the Rams coming on like they are. The Packers, I looked at this morning, so their playoff odds, if they win one game out of their last 4, they have like a 70-something% chance. But if they win 2 of the last 4, then it's like 98 or something. So as long as they win at least 2 of these last 4, whether it's the Bears and the Saints, or if they win one of the tougher games against, your Vikings or the Seahawks, they should be all right. But the Seahawks, in my opinion, they're really up against it, because they're dealing with Arizona and the Rams both for that division. So I think the Rams might get it. We'll see. Quarterback play. Top quarterback play for me this week, and this is going to depend largely on whether or not McConkey plays. But it's Justin Herbert. He's $5,900 on DraftKings, $7,500 on Fanduel, $27 on Yahoo. Going up against Tampa Bay, they have allowed the most fantasy points to quarterbacks this year. Last week against the Chiefs, Herbert was kind of below average. but he was without McConkey, who's been his top receiving target. So if McConkey plays, I'll definitely be playing Herbert. But if he doesn't, then I may have to go a different direction. So for value, I like Bryce Young. He's 5,300 on DraftKings, 6,800 on Fanduel, and $25 on Yahoo. Going up against Dallas. Young's been playing better of late. Dallas has allowed the 5th most fantasy points to quarterbacks this year. And Bryce has been doing a pretty good job of protecting the ball. He's only thrown 1 interception in his last 4 games, and that was in Philly last week. So I do like Bryce Young as a little bit of a value play. And there's some other quarterbacks I like on this slate, but those would probably be my top 2 for their price.
Yeah, those aren't bad. Let me just pull up the rest of my list here. You touched one of them. You touched 2 of the guys that I was looking at earlier. And if McConkey's in, yes, on Herbert. If he's not, no.
Yeah.
And the other thing that really has me worried about Herbert, we got to go into more detail and then we'll get moving on.
Yeah.
On quarterback kicks. I got a couple more, but health. I didn't like how he was doing it toward the end of the game. He did not look healthy. Herbert. And that has me really concerned about this game if it's going to affect them in the first, second, third, fourth quarter. One big hit, what? So kind of remind me of Philip.
Yeah.
Kind of remind me of Philip Rivers. So people who might be going to Herbert, buyer beware in that.
Okay.
Young, he may not pass the ball as much this week.
Okay.
They were handed off more. Because, I look at it this way. There's 2 ways to look at it, Josh. You've got Carolina actually favored.
Mm-hmm.
That's first time in how long?
A long time.
Exactly. And so it's going to be a close game, or it's going to be, I think Carolina might, should win the game.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's competitive, then no pass run. If Carolina gets a lead, they're going to run a lot, and they got Hubbard, the running back. So I'm a little concerned there too.
Yeah,
Chuba Hubbard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how everybody's going with Carolina.
Yeah.
And going to Chuba Hubbard, but how can you go both?
Mm-hmm.
They got to go one or the other, little decision-making process there.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it. They're fine. Young looks really good.
Yeah, I've been pretty impressed. His decision-making, like I said, has been pretty impressive. So
yeah. And then I go other quarterbacks I do like. I'm just going to sprinkle them in real quick. You can pay up for Jackson his MVP run. I think they're going to run the ball a lot more. My other guy in the area of Herbert, Kyle Murray again. It's him or James Conner again this week.
Yeah.
You got May, considering him this week. And then you got Levitt is the other cheapy chalk play. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, he's the other cheapy chalk. Levitt for Tennessee.
Oh, Will Levis? Yeah.
I'm not going to play it, but
I'm not either.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay up for Josh Allen probably.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to touch on that because I did use Josh Allen and Jared Goff on the thumbnail, and I was going to say you have to listen because I'm not necessarily saying they're going to be my top quarterback plays. In fact, I'm going to be fading.
No.
So yeah, go ahead and fill me in on Josh Allen. What you like? I mean, obviously it's Josh Allen, but I mean, just in this matchup in particular, it looks tough on paper. So
his athletic ability is gonna really be difficult for Detroit's defense to handle.
Okay.
Because you got to respect the pass and his run. Detroit's really good against run inside tackles.
Yeah.
Not outside. Detroit's got a lot of injuries on defensive line, linebackers.
Yep.
I don't know who they have out in the backfield right now. But you got that going on. And so I think that Josh Allen could run for 3 touchdowns. He could pass for 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He can do both, possibly like he did before, but this could be a big shootout.
Yeah.
And if you're in a big shootout game, you don't have Josh Allen
Oh, I know.
in this game, you could be in trouble.
Yeah. And we got in that situation last week. We made the pivot from Josh Allen. I wish we would have kept him, obviously.
I did not draft Kings. But
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that was a mistake, but that's okay. That happens. So Josh Allen gets in a shootout like he was last week, then it's definitely trouble. Running back, I do like on the other side of that matchup we were talking about. Rico Dowdle's been pretty impressive. Carolina has allowed the most fantasy points to running back, so I don't know how high his ownership's going to be. I would think it'd be pretty high. I feel like it should be at least, but he's 6,100 on DraftKings, 7,100 on Fanduel, and $26 on Yahoo. He's gone over 100 yards the last 2 games, 112 against the Giants on Thanksgiving, and then he had career high 131 Monday against the Bengals. And he's seen quite a few carries. He's had 18, 22, and 19 in the last 3 games. And he might see even more of this game because Carolina is pretty solid against the pass. So they've allowed the 12 passing yards per game. So I think Rico Dowdle should get quite a few carries. The other play, which is only going to be on Fanduel and Yahoo, is Zach Charbonnet. 22 carries for 134 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns with 7 catches for 59 yards for 37.8 fantasy points last week against Arizona. Kenneth Walker's doubtful. He's most likely out. And so Charbonnet is pretty much the guy, so he'll see a pretty heavy workload. Green Bay has allowed the 11th most fantasy points to running backs this year, even though they've gotten quite a bit better at yards per rush and yards per game. They still allowed quite a few touchdowns. So Charbonnet is definitely a good play on FanDuel and Yahoo. Obviously, he's not in DraftKings, but the Sunday night game is on the FanDuel and Yahoo main slate. So take advantage of that. And then last week we had a ton of value plays. But I don't really know what would be a good one because we had Breece Hall out last week. Looks like he's going to play this week. Obviously, Garendo played on Thursday. So, and Charbonnet plays on Sunday night. So for the main Sunday slate, just the Sunday morning and afternoon games, who do you like as your value? Do you have one that's your top value?
Well, and that's the thing is you don't have to pay up at running back. You don't have to pay down at running back.
So you can look at mid tier.
I love the mid tier. Charbonnet was one for mid tier. Dotto mid tier. James Conner.
I like James Conner. I like James Conner.
Yeah. Chase Brown's another one. He's a 3-down back. So I like about Charbonnet, 3-down back. Jake Jacobs, got him on the FanDuel. You got the Detroit running backs. Little leery on that area to go because they've not been running the ball as well lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got a little cheaper guys. I think the sneakier place might be oh boy, I don't know if there is a sneaky play.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's tough to get that super cheap value guy. I don't really know.
Stevenson against the Arizona 24th ranked defense would be the lowest I would go.
Yeah. Now, if Tony Pollard's out, we would have Tajay Spears, right?
Spears, yes.
Yeah. So that would be a value.
It would be a value, and I don't know if you need the value this week, but yeah.
I don't know if you need it either. And I'll tell you why I don't feel like I need it in a second, but we'll go to wide receiver.
But one thing is, either Derrick Henry or Barkley. You almost have to have one of those guys in play. Mix it up a little more
against the Steelers, though. I mean, they're really tough against the run.
It's going to be one or the other. It's going to be running the ball on that team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, the middle part of the Steelers defense, so I want to touch on, is I believe the best in the NFL, and so people are going to go to Hurts in large amounts. That worries me.
Okay. So Boy
The
Jalen.
tush,
Yeah.
the tush push may not work this week.
Yeah.
That's
I
all.
can see that. I can see that. All right. So for wide receiver, I like Lad McConkey. If he plays, he's 6,300 on DraftKings, 7,100 on Fanduel, $28 on Yahoo. Before he got hurt last week and missed the game against the Chiefs, he had his best game of his career, which he's a rookie, so it's a young career. But in Atlanta, he was targeted 12 times, season high, 12 times, 9 catches for 112 yards for 23.7 DraftKings points. So McConkey, if he plays, pair him up with Herbert, him playing is kind of the key to the whole deal. So McConkey plays, and we're all in on those Chargers. Middle tier, Adam Thielen, 5,400 on DraftKings, 6,100 on FanDuel, $25 on Yahoo. Last 2 weeks, he's been targeted 21 times. He had 9 catches for 102 yards for 22.2 DraftKings points. Against a pretty tough defense in Philly. And then 8 catches for 99 yards and a touchdown for 23.9 DraftKings points against Tampa the week before. So definitely like pairing him up with Bryce Young. Value, you've got Marvin Mims. He's 4,000 on DraftKings, 5,300 on FanDuel, and $14 on Yahoo. Indianapolis has allowed the 4th most fantasy points to wide receivers this year. He had 3 catches for 105 yards and a touchdown on 4 targets last game against Cleveland. And I definitely think Knicks can hit him on a deep ball again this week.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with that at all. And that's one quarterback I was going to mention. Knicks might be a good play this week as well.
Yeah, I think Knicks will be a good play. I think his ownership is going to be pretty high, honestly, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, running back, I was like Robinson for the Commanders.
Yeah.
Don't overlook him. Okay.
Ian Robinson. Yeah.
Don't overlook him. He's got a good matchup.
Okay.
I'll go back. I'm going receivers. Sorry about that. Are there any receivers you want to pay up for this week?
Yeah, I kind of like. Who was I looking at? Let's see. Check something out real quick here.
I'm just curious.
But one guy we've been playing a lot that I don't like is Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He's going to be up against Marshawn Lattimore, so that's going to be a tough matchup. And that's a revenge game for Lattimore. He's going to want to show out. I imagine he shuts him down pretty good. Yeah, so for paying up, I like where'd it go?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I can tell you my answer.
Jamar Chase. Yeah, that's who I would go.
I get the number one.
It took me so long. It took me so long. Like he's a number 1 receiver in fantasy, but yeah, Jamar Chase. I guess just because that game's not very attractive on the surface, so
Well, yeah, and I mean, the Bengals got to score somehow. It's either going to be Chase Brown or it's going to be Higgins or Chase, but I'm not spending up at receiver this week.
Okay, so it's kind of a trick question.
Very much so. And the only one I would really consider most would be Amon St. Brown.
Okay.
To be it.
I can see that.
Maybe a little Mike Evans.
Yeah. So did you say who you liked for your receivers?
Oh, a bunch.
What about value? I feel like that's going to be the key this week. So what value?
Well, McConkey, you, me, the industry's on him. Ridley, 6K FanDuel. I think that's a fair price for him this week.
Yeah, he's not going to get much ownership.
Thielen, I do like Hopkins and Worthy for Casey. They're about the same price, 5,300, 5,100 in FanDuel. A real sneaker plays might be Calvin Austin for Pittsburgh.
Okay, yeah, because
the short passes should work well.
Pickens is out, so
right. Oh yeah, there's that too. Yeah. But yeah, I like Austin because of the short, quick hits, and I liked him even before that news. So I was on him when I first looked at the slate. Now he looks that much better. And then Moore for Cleveland. Elijah Moore.
More. Yeah.
4,700.
I just dropped him in my season long league too, and I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do this, but I did. So hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me.
Yeah, but there's a lot of mouths to feed when you have them. But KC's defense is good against the passes, we know. But they've not been as good lately, so I like more. Anyway, those are some of the other guys that I mentioned. Have you mentioned the rest? So we can move on. I love Thielen, but I think everybody else does too. Josh. Anyways, so last I heard Josh was a cat meow, and then you froze up. So I don't know what just happened there. Yeah, and I agree, Derek, that yeah, I mean, if you're going to pay up a quarterback, you got to get the right quarterback, Derek. Um, and I think that the Vikings quarterback's been paying off his value for Darnold's been paying it off every week for a month now. He's been on fire. Jared Goff, we know name out for a while. There's another mid-tier price I do like as well, Derek. And then we're just gonna move on here. Moving on, my favorite segment, tight ends. My top two pay ups at tight end are McBride and Kelsey. Definitely are my two favorites. I love Kelsey. Kelsey. McBride still doesn't get in that end zone. He is a questionable take. A little worried about that. But I like Kelsey. He's going to be facing his own defense a lot, and with one of the receivers is going to go off for KC this week. And then mid tier, I love Henry. He's almost bargain, if anything, 5,000 on Fanduel just for reference, and 4,300 on DraftKings off the top of my head. And then you got pay down option. You got Strange, Schultz, and Ferguson. All great values, cheap bargain basement. And so if you double tight end it this week, I'll look at ownership, but I do like the double tight end look this week as well. Yeah, still look at Josh back. You could wait and wait and wait for him. And then one thing that I don't really pay much time and look at it for very long, and that is DFS defenses. It always worries me. That people spend an hour or two trying to pick what defense is going to play. I just go for the best one that's going to create some turnovers at the lowest price. Pick six pays off any defense. No, like on Yahoo, the big negatives you can get there, you got to be a little more careful on defenses. But for FanDuel and DraftKings, I don't see an issue either way. So definitely on that, and then
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, my camera just shut down for some reason. I have no idea what happened there. Sorry about that.
I heard cat meow, and then you went dead. That's okay. I just got done going my breakdown of tight ends and defenses, and now it's your turn.
Yeah, I didn't get like attacked by a cat and it took me out or anything like that. Like, my camera just reset for some reason. And it was just completely black. So I was like, what in the world's going on? All right. So you did receiver, tight end. So Will Dissly's out with a shoulder injury. So I like Stone Smart. He's dirt cheap on all three sites. He's 2,600 on DraftKings, 4,500 on FanDuel, and $10 on Yahoo. He got 3 catches on 3 targets for 54 yards against the Chiefs. Tampa Bay has allowed the 6th most fantasy points to tight ends this year. So especially now, this is one play that if McConkey is out, it will definitely help. So you can definitely play him if McConkey's out, even though we're not necessarily going to play Justin Herbert. I think you can play Smart by himself just because he's so cheap and still get good.
Yeah.
So.
Sure. Yeah. And I'll just go to the other ones like Henry. England. I think he's cheap, especially on DraftKings. And then the pay ups I mentioned were Kelsey and McBride. A few more confident in Kelsey.
Okay.
And he's cheaper.
Yeah, I think McBride will bounce back. He kind of let people down. Now he did have a better second half, obviously, but he was in a prime spot and kind of burned some people last week.
Yep. And yeah, Derek, yeah, we all love McConkey this week. He almost is a lock, yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, especially on DraftKings. And one fade I'm going to have is Tucker Kraft this week if Dobbs plays.
Okay, I can definitely see
On
that.
Fanduel, because it seems when Dobbs is back, Tucker Kraft doesn't know what exists.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely true. I mean, Kraft just kind of has those games where he just randomly kind of I mean, they all do. And Jaden Reed,
Yeah.
who would have thought he would have had no catches last week against Detroit, who he's always played well against. So
Yeah, it's crazy. That's football.
Family
Fun.
there and everything. Like, it's kind of a welcome home type game for him in Detroit. But yeah. So now we're on defenses. Obviously, Denver against the Colts is a top play. Washington against the Saints with Haney starting. I think that's a top play. Is it Hainer or Haney? I can't remember.
I think Haney.
Haney, yeah, Haney. So, the Washington defense against him. Arizona against the Patriots. And then I like the Browns as a value play. They're 2,200 on DraftKings. Like I said, it's going to be in the 40s and rainy, about up to 30-mile-an-hour winds. And honestly, the Chiefs have scored less than 20 points in 3 of their last 5 games anyway. So should be a lower scoring game. I imagine Kansas State's probably going to win in the last 30 seconds again.
Yep, there goes that field goal again. Yeah, play their kicker.
Maybe another block field goal since they're in the rain.
But no, one thing I do like about Cleveland is Myles Garrett gets pass rush, and he's going up against their tackles. Their tackles a bit.
Yeah.
Their tackles have been trash this year.
Exactly.
They've really been bad, and they've been getting worse, not better.
Yeah, Humphries did not look good at all against the Chargers. I mean,
and so you go, yeah, I agree. And if you go up with a real cheap defense, they get 3 sacks. Against, I think right there you paid it off. Like I said, defense isn't, you don't overthink defenses.
Yeah. I mean, I always look for that defense that's super cheap if it's not a terrible matchup. I mean, I think that just about any defense that's cheap you can play on a given week. Even like the Bills defense. Yeah, they're up against a tough matchup, but if they get a few turnovers, or a pick 6 or something, like they can make
a pick 6.
So we'll now go to our top predictions. Arizona is going to be my lock over New England. And then I'm going to take the Browns +4 against the Chiefs. Chiefs will win, but I imagine it's going to be by less than 4. Just going to do that every week somehow. So, and then my bold prediction is going to be that Detroit will lose on one of Dan Campbell's risky 4th down plays. Last week they won on 1. This week I think they lose on 1. So
I was thinking about that actually at the end of the game. I'm like, they're not going to be able to get away with this against Buffalo.
Yeah, exactly.
I really, and the referees have been helping them out a little bit too, the non-calls. I think just start throwing that hinky at these mugging offensive linemen, and then And I Detroit's had 3 losses personally. They really have.
Right.
But they've had some friendly call, and I'm not knocking Detroit. It's not them doing the officiating.
Yeah.
It's not. I can't.
A lot of balls bounce their way. We can put it that way.
Well, they've had a lot of yellow hinkies stay in a pocket their way. So and like I said, I love that second half of the Green Bay game, and I saw the yellow hinkies going out. I love it because they're finally getting called for grabbing, not letting go of defenders. They weren't getting called for that all year long, and I'm like, this is the great offensive line getting
they
don't
need an advantage on their opponents.
Well, and it's not even home games. It's been weird this year.
Yeah.
And at least I think the refereeing has been better in the big games, so that's good. But anyways, my lock for the week, I'm going to go with Baltimore this week.
Okay.
I think they'll hold on against the Giants.
16.5 point favorites. They better.
hunker down. My
Get
bold
out.
prediction.
Yeah.
My bold prediction is everybody's taking Buffalo over Detroit, so I'm going to take Detroit.
Okay.
With the point, I'll take it with the point. There we go.
Okay.
I think that's going to work out? Probably, but I'd say it's about a 6% chance that Buffalo wins that game because it's outdoors.
Yeah, it's only 2.5 though, so it's not like you're taking a ton of points. So
yeah, I'll take it with the points. I'll take Buffalo with the points and Detroit still to somehow for referee win.
Oh, you're taking Buffalo points. Okay. So
Buffalo
now
points
plus 2.5, but you're taking Detroit to win.
Well, Detroit's favored by 2.5.
Yeah, that's a little bit more bold though. So
and then I'm going to still say that Detroit will still win.
So Detroit has to win by 1 or 2. So.
Right. That will be easy, will it?
Yeah.
Oh, and my big upset of the week's Jacksonville beating Jets.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah. That's my bold pick right there, bud.
Yeah. That's Aaron Rodgers' farewell tour, I think, man. I think this is it.
Yeah. It's it'll be an interesting game. He looks old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. King of Spades is on now too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So we got Derek and King of All Trades. Thank you guys for joining us today. And I know you guys are both members or have been in the past, but if any of you guys isn't currently a member and wants a free week's membership, hit me up on X at DFS Coach Talk, and we'll get you in for next week for sure. Prizepicks, I like. Well, there's one that's obvious. It's the Patrick Mahomes free square for they're calling it Merry Picksmas. We've got more than 0.5 passing yards. If Mahomes doesn't get that, it's because he got hurt in warmups. And Rico Dowdle more than 59.5 rushing yards. I like that. That's a goblin play. Adam Thielen more than 53.5 receiving yards. That's a normal play. And then Jared Goff. This is the one I was talking about, the Buffalo defense. Jared Goff more than 0.5 interceptions. The Bills have 17 interceptions this year, which is tied for third most, and we get a higher payout on it. So I like that play. And I do think Goff will throw at least one interception, maybe two. So with that being said, if anyone has any questions, please leave those in the chat, and we will get started on our Two Brains lineup for FanDuel.
Well, let's get doing on that. And then while you're just saying that, Goff throws his most interceptions on zone defenses, and the Bills like to do that. So they'll mix it up, and I see Goff throwing it.
Houston. So
yep. So there you go. So I was 16 this year.
Yeah.
But anyway, almost all those interceptions have been on the type of defense the Bills run.
Well, I like what you said about Josh Allen. So I don't know what his ownership is going to be, but he is the highest priced quarterback. So I think
easily
a little bit lower ownership than he's seen in previous games, and it is a pretty tough matchup on paper. But I like what you said about him, so we'll go ahead and take him at quarterback.
Yeah, and he doesn't he just hates losing.
Yeah,
you gotta love the guy. Is there fantasy value normally paying up for a quarterback lately? No, but that's why you do it. Do it to be contrarian.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that.
And then
GPP lineup too. So
exactly, yeah. Don't do this as cash, please.
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard.
Okay. Was he 500? Okay. And I'll take Dowdle. Is he 70 or 61? No, 71. Yeah.
71 in FanDuel. Yeah.
So we got both sides of that matchup. It's interesting.
Running backs?
Yeah, we did that a couple weeks ago, though, with Bucky Irving and Dowdle and Smash. So could happen again.
The only thing I was looking at different was Charbonnet at 67.
Or not Bucky Irving and Dowdle. It was Bucky Irving and Hubbard.
Yeah, Hubbard. That's remember who it was now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Bucky Irving, he's also a question tag on him. And he is a true question tag. So, but they have White priced up right to 200 behind him. But they're going up against a good run defense. Would you rather have Dowdle at 71 or Charbonnet at 7?
Well, I was going to put Charbonnet in the flex, so we can still get him in there.
Okay. Why don't we just do that now?
Okay. Yeah, you like Charbonnet, so you couldn't take him as your pick.
I think he's going to be a little higher owned, possibly, or maybe not.
Yeah.
And then they do it. Your turn, by the way, receiver.
Okay. Assuming he plays, going to take McConkey here. If not, we'll definitely have an update to our lineup on the comments for Sunday.
Sure. We go one guy right down, one below right there. Secure if that happens. But
Leo Secure?
not now. Right now.
Not now. Okay. I thought you were going to pair him up with Allen, but
not yet. No.
Okay.
Allen could be on his own. He doesn't need help.
True.
Yeah.
Especially if he gets rushing touchdowns, like you were saying.
Yeah, and 3 different receivers, and
yeah,
and he does spread the ball nicely. I'm just looking for 1 or 2 players here. Hang on. See that stood. Yeah. Oh. I thought you just looking him up right now.
Is Derek talking about Blake Corum? Is that who he's talking about? Or who is he talking about?
Tight end.
Oh, tight end. I didn't see that tight end in there. Was that Davis Allen, I think? Their backup?
Yeah, but the Rams aren't playing.
Right. They're not playing until next week.
So I agree with that otherwise. Elijah Moore, I'm still going to do it. 4,700 is too cheap.
4,700? Holy cow. Yeah, that is cheap. Yeah, I'm going to go back to what we were just talking about a little bit ago. Browns defense, 3,500.
Yeah. See, I'll easily make it up price.
Yeah, because I'm going to go ahead and take yours because I'm taking Smart at tight end. So that's going to leave you with quite a bit.
So you said who on defense again?
Cleveland. Dude, that leaves you with 9,400. You can even take Jamar Chase.
Yeah. Dude, I know. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. Just thinking now.
Minnesota's not on this slate, so you can't take Jefferson.
I know.
Well, he was a really good play last week, that's for sure.
I unfortunately was not as much on Jefferson as I was the other running back.
But receiver. Man, both Addison and Jefferson had.
I know.
Games, so
yeah, I was on Addison more than I was on Jefferson last week, but
yeah,
I liked them both, and they were both okay. 5 touchdowns between the 2.
Yeah, it's just okay.
Yeah. Another day we'll talk about the re-signing. I just snuck in Chase. He is a great guy. We can get him in. Why not? Yeah.
So we got Josh Allen, Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard, I don't know however you say his name, Lad McConkey, Elijah Moore, Jamar Chase, Stone Smart, Zach Charbonnet, and the Browns defense.
I like it.
Good stuff. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
No.
No, we're about to both watch our Bucks in the semifinals. This is a tough matchup, man. The Hawks played us really well last time, so I'm a little concerned.
I am. I think Middleton will play a lot more tonight. So
yeah, Middleton was out against Atlanta, so
and that will help Loomer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they had him out just because of that too.
Yeah. Well, before we get out of here, one last thing, Doug. It is playoffs starting for a lot of people in season long. So any last minute pickups you can think of that you want to recommend, I'll definitely recommend Stone Smart. I mean, if he's available in your league and you need a tight end, if you got Njoku who's questionable or somebody like that, like I did, I think Stone Smart could be a decent fill-in this week.
I agree. Boy, if Charbonnet's still he's not all picked up in every league yet. Charbonnet.
If Charbonnet is available, you're in the wrong league.
Elijah Moore's been dropped by a lot of people. So
yeah,
I dropped him
myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I did drop him. But anyways, I would Ridley get him if he's out there, and I'm trying to think of a running back I really like.
Well, if Pollard's out, you can pick up Spears. I'm sure he's available in most leagues. Yeah.
Yeah, Tajay Spears would be out there. If McConkey's out, you might want to consider Palmer.
Okay. Yeah.
At receiver.
I think a lot of people are going to play because he kind of had a bounce back game in a big way with Johnston, but I think Palmer's a more consistent play for sure.
Well, as I said, Johnston's already owned by a lot of people too.
True, but he just drops too many easy ones, so it makes me nervous in playoffs.
It is, yeah. And Derek's agreed with you and I about Goff. He chose those picks.
Yeah,
and but one thing about Goff is that he does do great in-game adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
He does.
He does. Well, and his offensive coordinator Ben Johnson is really the one doing it. But yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, I mean he'll see it, and but the thing is against the Bills can do zone or man, and that be able to have that flexibility on their roster that helps.
Yeah, for sure. I was trying to see if there's anyone else.
Russell Wilson, did we touch on him at all? Much?
No. What are you thinking about Wilson this week? You like him or not?
I do actually. I like him as a contrarian play. It doesn't matter if his what's his name's out or not. I keep writing his name. Pickens, because because if you think about it, Pickens has not been on fire. He gets 4, 5, 6 targets tops a game, and they get all the threat to throw to there.
Yeah,
and so I wouldn't be so. If Pickens is out and no one's playing Russell Wilson has his ownership under 10%, I'm going to play Russell. I'm going to actually play him. That ownership's down, I'll play him.
Yeah.
It's an ownership game, and
it is.
He's been hard to stop. He's been on fire. So
yeah.
And right now his ownership is low. So
yeah. All right. Well, I hope everybody has enjoyed the show this week. Again, Derek or King of All Spades, if you are wanting to get back in our Discord for the next week, we'll definitely get you in there. Hit me up on X at DFS Coach Talk. Hope everybody has an awesome week, and we'll be back next week as we look to crush it in NFL, DFS, and Prize Picks. Have a great day.
Go Bucks.